and a voice kind of comes up from over the mountain range. Kind of raspy, older, and with a casual importance to it. It says, "So, are you claiming some semblance of dealing with this?" As it steps over, the face looks down with recognition. "My God. Keyleth."
Who are
You
you?
guys look up and see long, silver-haired half-elf in later years, dressed in the blue and white robes of the Arashari. You see before you Corin, your father. You live.
Dad.
He just steps forward and goes, and as you've stepped away from Sir Kronos, just takes you in his arms and holds you extremely tight against him.
I'm sorry I didn't check in sooner. I didn't want you to be disappointed.
She puts his finger up to your lips and pulls you back and just kind of looks you over, and with a smile on his face. You see the hardness of his expression fade. Keyleth, you've grown.
A lot's happened.
Well, just like her.
I haven't found Mom.
Her path was her own. I'm just glad that you have maintained yours. He wipes the tear from your face and says, "How goes the Aramente?"
Well,
She's kicking ass.
Good. Good. He kind of like places his thumb at the corner of his eye. We were called not by a day ago by the surviving Pyra. Told of the angry mountain and the terrible drake that sundered the rift. I helmed the team while the majority of our people stayed to keep Zephyra cloaked and safe from the marauding beast. We've only just made our way up the mountain. Your arrival is quite fortuitous, as we need all the help we can get.
How can we be of assistance?
Come. Let's see what remains of Pyra. He turns around and walks back over towards the top of the mountain.
Daddy.
He stops, looks over his shoulder towards you. Yes.
It's good to see you again, Father.
It's good to see you as well, daughter. Now come, show me what you've learned. He goes back to walking. The rest of the Fire Ashari stand up, kind of acknowledge and recognize those of you that stand here before, visiting once before. Sir Kronos looks about. You show strength and honor by coming here, in our time of need. This will not be forgotten. Now come. As you follow them up over the top of the mountain, you see once again before you the caldera of this once volcanic mountain has been blown apart in areas. You can see sections of large black stone that are now pushed up into jagged obelisks where once was a relatively smooth, blackened shale countryside. You can see there are pits of molten rock that have just been punched through the floor and have just gathered into these pools where the air above is slowly shifting and warped by the heat that is now released above the mountaintop. The flow of lava that descends down the side of this mountain continues and swells and heads inward towards the Cinder Grove. The Cinder Grove, from what you can see from this distance, is but a fraction of what was once there. Most of the trees now torn apart and scattered amongst the top of this mountain. You can see bits and pieces of the various petrified trees just thrown hundreds of feet from the center. There are still standing defiant trees amongst what once was the Cinder Grove, but they are very sparse. Many of them now blackened by what you can see in the very distance beyond the broken huts and homes that once held the Pyra. You see the distant, moving, glowing dots of various elemental energies spiraling outward from a very large central red rift that sits there pulsing and pulsing with bright, almost sunlight energy. It's like staring into the sun at the very, very zenith of its movement. You have to avert your eyes even staring towards this rift, now a good 30, 40 feet taller than it was when you last returned here. What was once the portal in the ground has now ruptured and is emerging, slowly piercing out of the top of this mountain. Undaunted, your father, the other Ashari, continue walking forward with no words.
Kind of rush forward a little bit to talk to him. Question. Your Majesty? I want to help. We all want to help as much as possible. But I don't know any magic. Most of us don't. Are we going to be able to do anything?
Well, I certainly hope so. If you've survived this long with my daughter, you've picked up a few tricks.
Well, that I have.
Father, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these people. They're the most capable that I know.
This is good, because that's what we need right now.
Do you, however, since we're druids, we're a little bit more, geared, prepared to deal with the fire. I can cast protection from energy on a couple of these people, if you wouldn't mind. Maybe grabbing the other two?
Do what I can. At this point, Corin, his father and the head of the Ashari, in your absence, puts his hand forth and goes, I'm sorry, you're saying that you see, along the way, undead creatures.
There's something unnatural over in that direction. We should probably be the ones to investigate.
Right. Given the nature of the elemental presence here, we're going to have to probably divide and attack the central place from multiple positions. Otherwise, they're going to have too strong of a fire front at the edges of this border. Do you feel confident enough to handle your own sliver of this assault?
Is he serious?
Grog. I believe we can handle it, Corin.
We don't have a lot of magic wielders with us, though.
It's all right.
I'm pretty good.
A lot
Pretty
of
good.
magic wielders.
Yeah, better than good, buddy.
You're okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out. We'll have two of our druids overhead keeping eyesight. If anything goes wrong, signal up there. You know how, Keyleth. And we'll send them down to aid you. All right.
Sounds good.
The Arashari will come from the northeast. Sarkonos, take the rest of your tribe. Hit from the west. You continue on forward. If this troop you found of seemingly lifeless entities looks even remotely dangerous, do not engage. They are not our target. But if this is a scourge that is spread into the Cinder Grove, I fear we may be in worse shape than I had originally envisioned. Regardless, stay silent, stay swift. Approaches you and places his hand on your shoulder and turns you around to look you in the face. And you can see there's smears of dirt, and he's still glistening from sweat from the whole ritual, and he kind of looks a bit weathered and winded from the experience. And Keyleth, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Father.
I think we will stay here and help the Pyra tribe rebuild.
Oh, okay.
He kind of takes your chin and pulls it up and looks you in the face with a broad smile on his face. He says, the road before you, Keyleth, is hard and fraught with loss and sadness. To live is to struggle against the void. But it's those moments of darkness that define the joy of the world around them. Learn from the loss and push forward as a beacon of perseverance, of hope for life after pain. This is one of the pillars of strength of a leader. One that I've learned with the loss of your mother. But you are my beacon of hope. And to many more than you even expect. And he looks back towards the 4 other members of the Zephyra tribe that are all just looking at you. And they nod.
I hope I do not fail you, Father.
I trust you will not. Now go forth. While we stay here, I want you to grasp your destiny. Vanquish this terrible beast that lies on the shores of Taldore. Complete your armamente.
How do you know that this is my destiny?
Whatever your destiny is, grasp it. But you've chosen this path. And all destiny really is the choices you make, leading towards a goal that perhaps you do not yet understand. But when you've returned, I wish for you to teach us the wisdom you've gained on this journey.
Kaitiake, Father.
Kaitiake Keelith.
Did you see a broom lying around anywhere?
No,
Sorry.
that's all right. And we will keep an eye out for it, though.
Please. And tell everyone #FeelTheGurn. They'll know what it means.
What is a hashtag?
I'll explain later.
Well, unless there's anything else, we have business to attend to in restoring this area. I wish you all great luck.
Corin. If we should ever need you, if I should ever need you, or the assistance of the Ashari, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Call to Zephyr. Come home. And we will come with you. As he looks over all of you, kind of giving each a look of nod of respect and appreciation.
Wow. Felt it coming.
Glances past to Grog. Vex. Lingers a very long look on Vax.
Oh.
Just gives you a nod.
His diamond earring is
Listening in the light, yeah.
Did I stutter?
Stay safe. For her sake. And Corin turns around and walks back as the rest of the Zephyra Ashari walk along with him. Corin, your father.
Dad!
He looks surprised. Like when he lands in a very aggressive, kind of coming to see what's going on type way. And as soon as he kind of looks and says, Keelith, I wasn't expecting.
Hi.
Hi.
Villages looks great. I see you guys have been keeping up the landscaping. This is awesome. Hi, how are you?
He kind of takes you in and kind of he hugs you, but it's like a tense hug, and he kind of pats you on the shoulder. He goes, we're good.
What's wrong?
Oh, well, things as they are. I know you're probably here for not a passing visit. Am I correct in this assumption?
I mean, I guess you could say it was going to be passing and that we don't have a lot of time. We were here to ask for help for the Arashari's aid.
We were waiting the specific word based on our last conversation, and, well, we have ways of finding information about what's going on in the world. So, with the armies that have been mounting and making their way towards Amon, we've been keeping a watch on the gathering energy towards the west coast of Taldore. We were preparing ourselves. So, if you've come to ask for our aid, we're ready.
Why do I sense trepidation in your voice?
Because we know what we face. Because my daughter is going to war against something that well, we watched tear through the countryside just not long after you were born. And, I'm just concerned as a parent. That is all.
You sent me on this path to prove myself worthy and a hero. I'm following what I thought you wanted of me.
You are, and I'm proud of you. I just want to do what I can to help safeguard that.
I will continue my duties,
Of course.
as I promised from the beginning,
Of course.
as those supersede being your daughter.
Of course.
And I am here for unfortunate reasons, and I wish I wasn't. We need the best. We need as many and the top soldiers that we have. I'm looking at you, at my people for air support. There's about 5, maybe 600, maybe even more wyverns hovering the city, and so far we don't have a lot of options.
Well, we know wyverns well. That's the good news. We can probably facilitate this request.
I was hoping maybe some of the best nature manipulators could maybe even create a hazardous storm ahead of time, see what we can do to take out as much in bulk.
We can do that. You went to school. Yeah.
I know. I got educated.
We can do that. When is this set to happen?
Tomorrow afternoon.
All right. We'll get our conjurers together and begin building the storm front and send it midday tomorrow. Then, what sign should we look for to enter the fray?
Oh, shit.
Just anything.
I mean, I could get like
Flare.
We do have some
flares.
flares, though, Lawrence.
Flare.
Kiki, we have flares.
We have flares.
50 pieces. Very well.
I mean,
Will you use it?
we're kind of spitballing this as we go, Dad. So we can work on a sign together, right?
Sure. I mean, if we're creating a sky of rain and darkness, just
Yeah,
make the sky itself a sign.
I can do that.
All right. Something I'd know. Something I'd recognize.
Okay.
And we'll go in there, and we'll tear as many of those wyverns as we can to the ground.
You're not alone. There is an army of elves marching as we speak.
It's the Singorn army.
We've seen them traversing. Their illusions are strong, but their illusions are faced towards the city. We have the luxury of knowing their magic. So yes.
With all due respect, if you have seen through their illusion, does that mean I'm sure many of Thordak's spies could do the same?
Depends on who he has on his side. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, me too. Are you going to come as well?
I do not wish to live in a world where the dangers that continue to press upon the free peoples of this or any land draws my daughter to the front lines to fight, kill, and possibly die, and I stay back and do nothing. So yes, I will be there.
What about Zephyra? What about the village? Who's gonna watch our come?
We have enough to spare for this and protect our people. Besides, as you well know, the protections in this village prevent wayward flyers.
Okay. This is Vax, by the way.
We've met.
Yeah, you have.
Good to see you.
He came
well,
with
sir.
me. So,
Hasta mañana.
yeah. See you tomorrow, I guess.
See you tomorrow.
A great many people are grateful for your aid. As am I.
And I'm grateful for yours.
You're a good man.
Prove to me you're one as well. All right.
Cleaning the shotgun.
But we have a lot to plan. I'm sure you do as well.
Yes.
Good night. And he kind of pulls you in and kisses you on the forehead and kind of gives you a long look.
Just give him a big hug in response.
Just kind of holds you there for a second. Looks back over at you as he's holding you, kind of.
Just nod my head.
Miss you, Dad.
I miss you too. When all this is done, you still intend to finish your Aramente. Do it quickly. Come back to us, please. You're missed.
You have my word. I won't let you down.
I know. Anyway, and you slams in the ground and it kind of like the leather flares out into like these like kind of arcing looking fingers. And he kind of steps on.
Are these the new models? They've really upgraded.
No, you've just been gone for a while.
Have I been gone that long?
You've been gone a while.
Okay, well they look great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, okay, bye.
Goodbye. Corin, the father of Keyleth and the current acting voice of the Tempest of the Zephyra, his kind of long, white, silver hair drifting behind him, he approaches with a look. Everyone kind of holds back as he steps forth from the crowd and, kind of ignoring the rest of you, just goes and beelines straight to Keyleth. You can see him, he has a bit of a limp to him that you don't recall from last time. But he seems, other than that, in good health. And as he approaches you, he kind of clasps his hands out in front of him and takes a good long look at you as he reaches out and takes your hands into his own. My daughter.
I just drop to a knee and say, Kai Tiake, Father.
Kai Tiake, Keyleth. We've heard that the defense of Amon was successful, yes?
Yes. We have defeated the Chroma Conclave. The help of Vox Machina and many, many others at the cost of many lives.
Good. Good. I'm glad we be of some aid to your journey.
Yes, thank you. The Arashari were very valuable during that day. Very courageous.
And we will remember those we lost in that fray. The great sacrifices that they gave. So that these children could live. So. And at this point, he now takes notice of the rest of the group. By what joy do we have of bringing your allies here and you're returning to your people?
He doesn't know.
Sorry, I thought, Yvonne might have said something. I'm here because I have completed my Aramente. I've
Yes,
gotten
you
a
have.
blessing.
I just wanted to hear it from your lips.
Still waiting on your final word, I guess.
Well, while we still have daylight, let us prepare for the ceremony. Come, all of you. You are welcome. Welcome here in Zephyra. We will begin. Decoration shall commence. Rest, prepare. Not but 2 or 3 hours until the ceremony is to occur. He turns and folks begin to rush in. He's in the process of a conversation, and it's interesting. Like during this whole thing, he was excited to see you and you've come, but he's kept a strange distance from you during this preparation. He smiles, and you guys meet eyes occasionally, but he's also just focusing on this endeavor. And then you kind of come out of the blue. Ah, yes, Vaxeldan.
Forgive me. Might I have just a moment?
Quickly, we're about to begin, but yes.
I will be brief. I just wanted to take a moment to say, I really wish you could have seen some of the things she has done. I know you are proud of her. I've never met anyone like her. She's going to do your people very proud. I'm grateful.
As are we all.
You've a lot to do.
As do you. As does she. And he kind of reaches out and kind of pats you on the head and kind of ruffles your hair a little bit. And even that feels a little awkward for him, like he felt impulsive to do it, and then kind of almost, oh, that wasn't very...
It's all right, it's more than I ever got.
Darkness.
Anyway. Come. It's nearly time. For long, we of the winds have awaited the procession of our tradition. With the passing of our elder voice, Dwala, it was my wife Vilya who was selected to take the Aramente. Beautiful and full of determination, she accepted her path. And while she could not return to us, the destiny she set is now seen as one of preparation. Her journey was not in vain, for it was her love that produced our daughter. It was her guidance in joy that taught our child compassion. It was her discipline and understanding that forged young Keyleth's spark of intuition and unlocked her adept connection with nature and the winds. We mourn the loss of our Vilya, but take pride that she lives on in the eyes of our own returned, beloved woman of the winds. Here we bring together our collective voices to bless upon my daughter, the memory of Vilya, the champion of Gwasar, the mantle of our destiny. And as he puts his arms up from around you to each side, Keyleth, you watch as young acolytes begin to approach from each side, arms down, all seemingly carrying these various pieces of dark green leather-like material, and as they come together, they latch them into place and slowly build this mantle. Ring clear our voices to unite our breath and grant our strength to her guidance and wisdom, as Keyleth takes the rightful and earned responsibility of leading our people into this next generation. At this point, the assembled mantle is placed into Corin's arms, and you now see this beautiful neck and shoulder piece that rests past to the elbows, but limp and without body in his hands. As he holds it there and the rest of the acolytes step back and find their place seated, he kind of lifts his arms up a bit and begins to just sing a singular note. And everyone around you in Zephyra begins to join in this singular note as you look up once more into your father's face. Rise, my daughter, and become Keyleth, voice of the Tempest. He steps back and bows his head. Your father steps up and takes your hands and just says, I'm so proud of you. And there is much to be done, I know. But I'm proud of you. He takes your hand and holds it up once more. To the voice of the Tempest and the future of our people. Shushes them all for a moment, turns to you. Keyleth, my daughter, how can I help you?
Corin, I was wondering if I could have a word with you for a minute.
Of course. You do realize that you can still call me father. I mean, I know you're the leader, but...
Can I? Is that like allowed? I don't really know.
He puts his hand up and puts his arm around your shoulder and kind of guides you off away from the chaos of the celebration. You hear the the whistling of music and flutes and thin tanner drums going off in the distance. And as it kind of fades, the further off you guys walk in the direction of the tree where the ceremony took place. Oh, sorry.
You should fire that guy.
I will.
Shitty servants.
It's very windy up here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, sorry, that's true.
As you walk further away towards the tree, he kind of takes his arm off from around your shoulder and says, "Now, I understand you have many questions, and we've prepared you as much as we could leading up to this journey you've gone on, but now that you're here,
I guess.
primarily, the people of Zephyr look to you for guidance when choices are hard, difficult.
Okay.
You are the acting head of law, like I've been all this time. If there is conflict, if there is difficulty, if there is a challenge that presents itself that requires the wisdom of a leader to step in,
Right.
that's when you're called upon.
So... I'm confused. Was the Aramente my training to be a leader? Is there like a... Because if... You apparently prepared me as best as you could before I left. I don't know how well you all did. So I'm just wondering if I need to expect that again. Is this just me figuring this out again? Or do I have guidance?
The nature of the Aramente is fluid. I have not taken it, as I am not the leader. It is tradition, and it is both, as far as I understand, a series of challenges and lessons tailored to whatever a person seems to be seeking, or what you can draw from that, but also to interface with the other tribes and establish that connection between all the leaderships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did that. You're right, you haven't taken it. That's been about 5% of my journey. All of the lessons that I've learned have been in the in-between.
That is part of the Aramente itself.
I know. I guess I'm... I don't know. Just trying to figure out how to navigate this. Like the leader I'm expected to be. Dad, you didn't tell me a lot about the world. And sometimes I think I get angry at you for that.
You're not wrong to have these thoughts.
Why didn't you tell me that the world could be so cruel and mean? Why did you never tell me that?
We've tried. But you can only tell someone so much. Do you not think we spent days warning you of the dangers and difficulty? We didn't thrust you out in the world with a smile going, "Have fun." We told you it was challenging. We warned you of the people you might interface with that you couldn't trust. And for the first legs of it, we had a few scouts keeping an eye,
What?
just to make sure you were safe.
Okay.
But
It just kind of sounds like it was advice coming from people who didn't really fully know.
to be fair, when every parent has a child come of age, you can only coddle them so far. Every bird has to be kicked out of the nest for it to learn to fly. Not because we want to, but because that's how things are.
I know, and I thank you for that. I guess I'm just wondering what's next. Now what?
Now, as the leader of these people, you go and learn how best we can establish ourselves in the countryside. Where once Guisar, or Taldore, as the humans call it, all of our civilizations are merging. Isolation that we've relied upon is becoming less and less viable.
I agree.
And so, part of, I think, what you have already begun is finding a way to bring not just the Ashari, but Sephra as well, necessary friendships and allies.
Our people need to be connected to the rest of the world that we've sworn to protect. I understand the need for our isolation, but I often wonder if we had a few close allies on alert, if the Thordak incident might have gone a little bit differently.
I agree.
I still need time with Vox Machina. We still have things we need to complete, and then I promise I will return.
All right. Come back. Do what you need to. You're not bound to this mountain. Just know that your heart is here. And we'll call for you if we need you. And when you're not needed beyond it, this is your home.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm proud of you. And his kind of professional exterior falls away, and he just steps forward and kind of gives you a big, warm, fatherly embrace and just holds you there.
Okay, Dad. Okay. Okay.
So he rights his posture, shoulders back.
I do the same. Adjust my mantle a little bit.
Yeah.
Another question. Do I have to wear this like all the time? It's a little unwieldy. Feels a little frou-frou-y.
It's
Kind of ceremonial.
it is.
It's a little. I feel like I'm gonna trip on it.
You don't have. You know, it's more just do what you like. It's
Okay.
yours.
It's going upstairs in it, like in the heel. It's a little unwieldy. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm gonna go get a drink.
You probably should.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Rude
Okay.
lips, what are they talking about?
As he notices you approach, he looks over. In all my years, not a day passes where awe does not strike me at the beauty of this world. He looks over towards the sunset. Don't ever lose the memory of every face whose strength helped you keep this light from fading. Every single face.
I don't think it's the faces that keep this light from fading. I think it is what it is. We're lucky to experience it. If you are lucky to think it's beautiful, you taught me that. I don't have to appreciate this. Especially not after what I've seen. But I do.
You need to.
Only because of what I've seen.
And you see a bit of heartbreak in him, but he nods his head and reaches out and takes you in and holds you there on the cliffside, the winds just being kept at bay. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It's all I ever wanted. It's weird. Once you reach a life goal, and then realize you have the rest of your life. I guess I just find new goals. Sometimes it's hard being a prodigy. Because then you just grow up to be a regular adult.
He pulls you in tighter. You'll always be my girl. My little Keith.
Thanks, Dad.
I love you.
I love you.
Anyway, I should get to seeing if dinner preparations are being made. Looks to be a cold night. He tugs your hand and walks back, and leaves you there on the cliffside looking out. Door of some kind, Sealdor made his way into the room, and you look and you see the long, dark hair of Sealdor, his pale complexion, his stern face, staring back at you all within the doorway as he closes it behind him and steps into the room. You see Devana sits up now and comes over to him and says, "My dear, would you like us to leave you alone?" He goes, "Don't worry, it'll be fine. Have a seat. Besides, we're all family. Well, some of us at least." He looks over to Grog.
Good day.
Good day indeed. He comes up and sits, and he's wearing long, kind of dark brown robes with gold and red embroidery on the side, but it's very kind of casual homeware. And he sits down, pulling up a chair across from you guys in this area, and takes one of the cups of tea and sips it. And you can see there's just like an intensity to his face. He's here, and he looks like he's partially inconvenienced by your presence, like he always did, but he also looks like he hasn't slept well. There's kind of some dark circles under his eyes, and he seems a little distracted for such a climactic re-meeting.
Surprise!
Surprise indeed. So, it's good to see you both. Glad you're in good health. You've come quite a ways to come speak with me, being as we currently reside within the Feywild.
It was a little bit further than we thought we'd have to travel. Why? The presence around the city that we're seeing? We understand why you fled, but what's going on?
Look, we had the entire Fort Daxio army down here, and we were to give aid to push into the nearby mountain range, where apparently there was an influxion of lizard folk. There had been a continuous problem, and apparently a drake had been seen somewhere. However, we had sent most of our forces into the mountain range, and then received word that 3 great drakes were making their way straight from Singorn after the destruction of Iman. Knowing that, we had no recourse but to flee and prepare when it was time. Had we stood our ground, we would be the same burning crater that your fair city is now.
So you intend to go back?
What do
You're
you
amassing
think?
this army to go back and join the fight.
That is exactly what we're doing. The remnants of the Iman army we currently have here in the city, we've been building armor and weapons to make sure that the most sure-footed and strong of armed men and women of our fair city can make it to that battlefield and tear that beast down.
That's wonderful news.
Good. Why are you here?
We are here on a very similar range of business, to be honest.
And you are?
Ah, yes. Percival Frederick Stein von Musel-Kurowski de Rolla III of the Royal House of Whitestone, representative of Man's World, here on very important business dealing with dragons. We are looking for some objects, a few things that may help us in our fight against these dragons that have attacked us. We've already made headway against them, and we've already made headway in our quest to destroy them. Any help that your wonderful city could provide would be most agreeable.
Well, we currently have all of our resources engaged in our plans of attack.
Of
There's
course.
not much we could offer you other than, if you wish to stay here within the city, we could provide a place to sleep, food, and when the time is right, you may join our ranks into the fray.
We've come to the Feywild for something specific.
We're trying to head to the Shademirk Bog.
Why on earth would you be heading to the Shademirk?
We're looking for the bow of Fendris. It supposedly lives inside of a cancerous tree.
Right. Well, good luck with that.
Well,
you
we
don't think
will
it's
be.
possible?
I think it's a fool's errand to chase a fleeting rumor into a location that is known to devour and destroy anyone who steps within its bounds, but by all means, you've always been ones seeking the darkness.
He and I are wearing fleeting rumors. That one's got one hidden up his butt.
You hear Valora chuckle. Devana's like, shh, quiet.
I want to pull Valora over and sit her in my lap.
She kind of at her mom as she picks it up there, and you can see Devana kind of smiles as she does so.
Sildor, we have killed 2 of these dragons already. Nothing could please me more to hear that you are amassing forces here to go back. That is possibly the greatest thing I've ever heard you say to me.
I want to insight check him and see if he's really
Yeah, do that shit.
Go for it. Roll insight.
Him or me?
26 on him.
All right. I'd whisper, but the microphone makes it useless.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's fine. He appears tired. He appears like a lot of his attention at times been put towards something
Being
important.
a giant dick.
Possibly. But he doesn't appear to be lying or fudging the truth at all. He's just tired.
All right.
He says, look, there are a lot of pieces at work here. If you have your own path, by all means. And while I have heard of some of your exploits, and I am quite impressed, and I hate to be blunt, but it's difficult and strange to mingle family of new and old. Your presence here brings up difficult memories for me.
Oh, you poor man.
Don't worry. We're not here to look for family. That would entail some amount of investment on either our side or yours. There is clearly none. We are here to do business. Do you know where the bog is?
Yes. It's duskward of here.
Fucking shit. Well, some people go this way, and some people go that way, and some people go both ways.
It's like being on a ship forever.
I've not traversed this land extensively. I've been here working along with the heads of the city to make sure we are ready for this attack.
When do you plan to return?
A few weeks.
You're joining other armies. You don't plan to fight Thordak on your own.
Well, there is intent to join up with the remnants of the Fort Daxio force. They have not gone to him on themselves, and they currently reside camped out near where Singorn usually is. We have a few groups that are set on the other side of the Vale in the Prime Realm, and they are keeping an eye out for this. A few scouting parties are in Imon as we speak, trying to gather intel on Thordak himself. Once we have that information and we can formulate what to expect, then we can attack.
So you're trying to go after Thordak himself. That's your first target, is Thordak?
It's currently the largest threat to our safety, our home, and our return. Don't think this is the first time a red dragon of that size has been felled. There have been ancient ages of various deaths from his people. It's not impossible, but we need to be ready.
Just a heads up, pro tip, dragons can fly.
And I take it you're their leader?
Of the dragons?
He very slowly sighs while grabbing his tea.
I've clearly lost your father. It's all right.
Well,
His intelligence is very low, Grog.
Oh.
in the interest of dealing with Thordak, we are going to need access to libraries, any of your people who may know something about this bog, and accommodations befitting those of us who are titled.
As well as access to certain parts of the city. We need some items to acquire within the city before we set out.
Also, it would be nice to find shelter for those of us who are not titled.
And I had asked for an oolong tea. And this is more of an Assam, I would say. Sort of a black.
Technically what you do, though, isn't it?
Devon says, I'm terribly sorry, I didn't mean that.
No, not you. Not you.
Sildor kind of crosses his fingers together and I can give you a letter that will grant you entry to a few of our general storehouses. However, most of you are outsiders, and others have been ostracized in their own right.
But you will respect titled entry. Those of us who are court can converse with the court.
Your title, your court, is unfamiliar with me. I doubt it will hold sway within this town, this city, this entire realm. But you speak of great importance. Are you the leader of this troop? He who brings up words of courts and titles?
For the moment, why not? I will say, I know the Feywild by reputation, and by reputation, you are known for your manners. And any kingdom should be measured by manners. That's the currency that is the easiest to come across.
Manners, by the way, are extremely effective in times of peace. This is not one of those times. However, I appreciate that at least you acknowledge the way things sometimes work. So, daughter, son, what else do you need of me?
Honestly,
Need
nothing.
or want anything from you.
Yet you still came to my home.
Oh, well, yeah. We got what we wanted, which is access to the city.
We're not here to be friends or to rekindle anything, but it seems like we want the same thing in a roundabout way. We want to end these dragons. We want to return the world to what it once was. Any help you can give in spite of our past, in spite of all the bullshit between us, will be appreciated by more than just she and I.
We know you have no love for us, but think of those you do love. And I hug Valora. Don't you want to make her safe?
That's exactly what I intend to do. If you wish to help in that, then so be it. I'll pull what I can within the city. Just leave me to my business, please.
You see for a moment there, for all the facade, all the front that he puts up, that strong distance facade, you see the fatigue break through, and there's a dark heartbreak. This is a greater threat than we've ever faced in our lifetime. And many of those in this city have lived quite a while. We have to do things right. Don't be foolish. Too many lives have been lost at the hands of these dragons. Some closer than others.
Do you know of anyone that has traversed more of the Feywild that would know of what we might expect?
The one who's seen it the most with the High Warden. I could probably get you passage to see her, but you're going to be heavily guarded.
All right.
You guys do know it's the High Warden. Tirelda is her name, and she is actually of the bloodline of Yenlara, who founded Sigorn centuries ago. She currently is essentially the de facto leader, though it's more of an internal republic. She is the final decision maker on most of Sigorn's political and social endeavors. Would that suffice?
Twill.
Twill.
Good day.
Good day.
Curious manners, your friend.
He takes his tea and pours another cup full and leans back in his chair.
2 dragons, you say you've killed?
That's right.
More than that, isn't it?
Of the conclave.
Of the conclave,
Yeah.
we've killed 2.
Which ones?
Umbrasil. And... What was the other one?
Blitzen.
Blitzen. What was the name of the other one?
Hang
Oh,
on.
it was General Krieg.
Yes, that one.
The blue one.
And then
the blue one.
we've also killed a white
You
one.
know, we thought so little of him, we didn't even remember his name.
Brimskype?
Brimslife. That's the one.
But also,
Sugar
we
Daddy.
respect him enough
Sleepy.
to learn his name.
Well, your story has charm. I have to admit, I have gotten word of at least one dragon felled on the other side.
I pull out a dragon's tooth from Umbrasil out of my pocket and I just toss it to him.
That's the result of the doings of your children. You should be very proud.
I am proud. I am proud. But the city lives differently. Understand the difficulty that your presence puts upon our family with you being here. I mean no disrespect. And it's fine in this trying time. But while you too may have undergone much ridicule in your youth, I saved you from the brunt of it.
You. Headphones, dear. You fucked some random woman in a city you passed through. And you expect us to feel sorry for you?
You should have left us to
You
be with
pulled
our
us
mother
away
when
for-
she died.
For nothing! Why? Why pull us away from her if you had no love? We would have been happy with her.
Because I had hope that you would be worth more, given that you had my blood in your veins, than to waste away in some small hovel.
If I could pull the blood of you from my veins and give it back, I would. I want no part of you.
There are many things we wish for, but we have no choice but to take what we are given and make the best with what we have. Even with this rift, there is still a part of me that cares for you both, and is genuinely happy that you live, and that you rise, and that you prove what the rest of these fools in this city said you were incapable of. Yes, I am prejudiced, but I still fight it every day. And I'm not going to lie. Every time that my daughter, your half-sister, laughs and plays stealthy Vax and Vex on her own, it makes me smile. You inspire others outside of our city walls with your doings. I think that's rather large of you. As foolish and as damned deadly as some of these endeavors may be, you inspire. That's more than I've done in my lifetime. So, care not what I think. Care not how your mother died. Just avenge it. For both of us. Show your little sister that you can rise up and destroy whatever comes in your way. Hate me all you want. It's only half scorn from me. I live with my regrets. I tried to bring you up right. But that upbringing was not right for you. And by the time I tried to return you, it was too late. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Tavana goes, anyone want any more tea? Oolong, you said, yes.
You've got it.
Right. And she leaves awkwardly.
Just so you know, what they did against the dragons was like incredible. Like all of the rest of us were like, we're dying. We don't have anything we can do. And they came in and they were like, kill, stab.
Percy! No,
then,
don't I.
What are you doing?
I'm being blood out of your
we're like,
jugular. Just go with
and they
it.
came in and they killed them all. And like, it's the only reason we're alive.
It's
really.
true.
It's very true.
Vax wanted to go inside the dragon. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, let's do it. Cut his way out. Went back and saved me. Crazy.
That does indeed sound quite crazy.
I mean, the balls on this one.
Let's be honest. Grog.
Yeah.
They
Lord
both
Grog,
had...
peanut butter, strong jaw. I have titled.
I'd say they've both proven to have more balls than most of those in our city.
Look, we're never going to be a happy family.
No, that is right.
But if you want to make reparations, help us on our path. It will only help you on yours.
And he stands up from his chair and walks his way back to his study and closes the door behind him.
Well, fuck. Guess he's not into us now.
No. I thought we weren't getting in a fight.
Lord
No,
Grog,
this
peanut
is good.
butter.
This is good.
Do you want me to take a dump somewhere?
Not yet.
Oh,
I will.
headphones, darling.
Oh, sorry.
She kind of pulls your hand out and leans and he goes, take it down.
No!
Oh, God.
I like him.
That's it's gnomish. It's
I like
gnomish.
him.
Doesn't mean the same thing.
Did you...
She's now transfixed on Scanlan.
Don't tell your mother I said that.
Darling, he
It was
takes
him.
blue sparkly booze.
Blue sparkle booze? Can you teach me?
Do you have any blueberries?
I'm gonna ask Mom if we got blueberries.
Oh, shit.
She gets
We
up and
gotta
runs
go.
off to the kitchen. A few minutes pass, and Devana comes back out holding the tea on the cart and goes, who taught my daughter to say blue sparkly poo?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that like a swear word?
Velora.
That's weird. You
sparkly
should really
poo bad?
control the people in this city from talking about that.
She got it
It's
at
weird.
preschool, I think.
So many soldiers everywhere.
Loud.
Velora. Go to your room.
I've never heard a soldier say, blue sparkly poo. I feel like she didn't get that from a soldier.
You've
sets
never
the
really
tea
been
down.
in war, have you?
The door opens from the far study, and you see Sildor walk back in, holding what looks to be a rolled up piece of paper with a seal on it. He heads over and kind of tosses it onto the table. That will grant you passage through the city. That'll grant you a single meeting with the High Warden. That's the most my power can do at this time.
This is a belt buckle. Why?
We're playing pretend.
Oh, it's a okay. Oh, it's a sealed scroll now.
May I see that really quickly? I give it a read. Pretend. Good.
Pretend. I'm pretend handing it off.
Ooh, good object work.
Good job. Yeah, nice.
Now get in the
I
canoe.
really see it.
No, it's not.
Go downstairs.
Right. They're all elves. I can't. Okay.
Oh, there's a Charizard.
So this grants an audience for all of us then.
Yes.
You're going to have to amend that one name, though, just to be fair. It's Lady Vexalia.
Lady.
Lady Vexalia, Baroness of the Third House of Whitestone and Grand Mistress of the Grey Hunt. So good, sir. Despite your relationship with her, do watch your manners.
Tea spit take.
My apologies, Lady Vexalia.
Well, you didn't know.
And you could see, like, there's confused surprise, but a smile does curl across the corner of his mouth. I will make the amendment immediately. And he steps back up, takes it from Percival, and makes his way back to the study.
Thank you, good sir.
Darth
appreciate
Vader.
He returns, hands you the amended paper. Good luck.
This is a belt buckle, though.
It's a gift from your mother.
You should thank Percy.
If you do intend to make your way towards the Shaper, be careful. Be safe. And if anything comes your way that you feel you are incapable of handling, run. We don't need heroes right now. We need survivors.
No promises?
He shoots you a very dark look.
Right. Sorry, the House of Peanut Butter will continue its bloodline. I don't know.
I will send word. Where can I send word to retrieve you when the time is ready for us to attack?
Do we have accommodations in the city? Was that?
Yes, but we'll be in Whitestone.
Oh, yeah.
I will send word to Whitestone, and we plan to return to the Prime Material and preparing our forces for attack upon Thordak and Iman.
If not, reach out to Allura of Iman.
I know Laura well, and I can reach to her.
I had a feeling you did.
Are you hitting on their dad?
Anyway.
Does everything look like hitting on people to you, Scanlan?
It's the Scanlan filter. It's on Snapchat.
Yes. Take off the beer goggles. Take them off. These are +2 magical beer goggles. Take them off.
He stands up, and at this point, Devana kind of enters beside him, puts her hand on his shoulder. He looks to you with his hands crossed before and goes, I wish you luck and safe journeys. I appreciate you coming by. It's good to see you both. You hear a voice on the side say, let them enter. The door creaks open. Berthold kind of steps back. I'll wait here. He kind of bows and gestures for you all to step into the room. As you guys step into this study, you see standing right across from you, looking into the fireplace,
where you can occasionally hear the crack and the snap of what looked to be a halfway burned fire. A human man in his late 40s. His short blonde hair is receding to the top of his head. You can see kind of the firelight glistening across his, looks to be somewhat oily forehead, and 2 heavy sideburns that are just kind of an uncombed mass that frame the sides of his very hardened square jaw. He's dressed in a nobleman's coat and breeches, though his shoes are nowhere to be seen, just barefoot on the ground. He looks over and sees you enter and looks towards Tyrion, and his hardened face turns to a kind of a softened smile, and he goes, "My son."
Papa.
He looks over to the woman, Kieran's. "What I've heard is true, and I thank you for your time. You will, Berthold will see that you're paid." She nods. Gives a nod to you.
You'll wait for us outside the grounds, and we'll give you your next assignment soon.
That is the arrangement. She leaves the room, and you hear Berthold kind of walking alongside her and chatting with her about payment as leaves. As soon as they walk down the stairs, he turns and goes, "I'm glad to see you all well."
Are you? You sent that woman to kidnap me?
I sent that woman to bring you home, to see that you were safe.
She bound and gagged me and threw me on the back of a horse. That's how you brought me home?
You're a hard man to find when you want to be.
I am literally the least hard man to find. I tell everyone my name, I wear a gold helmet, and I walk around talking about myself.
His smile kind of fades for a moment. He goes,
And yet, you were very far from these lands.
Yes, I was. I was living a new life, as I told you I would. And I was finding myself and becoming someone.
That is good. Just know that I was worried. You fill your head with these fantasies and ideals and step out into the unknown. Do you know how many men and women are found gutted in the streets and left and abandoned to rot away in forests by some bandits at the roadside? Not to mention the various beasts of the wild out there. I was worried about you.
Well, I was in danger for much of my time away. But that's not a bad thing sometimes. Becoming an adventurer, or whatever I am now, it wasn't supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be hard, and it was. And it had risks. But along the way I did much, and I stand before you now as a different man than who left. One who is one who has been through a lot and knows the dangers of the world, but is also a survivor. You know, when I left, I told you I was going to prove myself to you. That I would bring you back stories of my exploits and show you what kind of a man I really was. And I wrote a lot of them down in a book. But I don't think I want to show it to you, because I don't think you deserve to see it. You never supported me as a child, and you don't now. I mean, financially, yes, but not as a father. And the things I did while I was away, the book's a diary now. It's for me, not for you.
Tyrion, while my parenting may have been strict or distant at times, that did not reflect on my care for you. We have a legacy in this family to maintain.
Yes, I know. That's all you seem to care about. I mean, listen.
That's all that matters,
It's
Tyrion.
not all that matters. I know that I carry your blood, and that
This
means a lot to
money
you.
that you
And
seem to relish in, that you took without asking the last of our coffers. Your grandfather started this. And I have done everything to maintain it. And your interests, your attention, could not be brought to learn and maintain this business after me. So I've had to turn to Marianne. It does not mean I do not love you. But you have another purpose in this family. And that's why I've brought you here.
And what is that?
And you watch as he's like shaking, his hands are shaking, and he's like fidgeting and scratching his chin and running his fingers through his sideburns. We're impoverished. I haven't been able to pay our staff in nearly 2 months. Everything that I had to do to maintain this legacy has come back to bear fruit. And the debt that we owe is vast.
I don't believe you. Where's the money? Where's the family money?
He looks around at the rest of you, and you can see now there's like this trepidation with having this conversation in front of strangers.
It's all right. They're with me.
Reaches over and grabs off of his desk what looks to be an already opened bottle of some sort of wine. Kind of just takes a quick swig and sets it down. Slumps into his chair in front of the fire and kind of rests his face on his hand. Goes, everything your grandfather, everything Oberyn built, it's on the verge of fading away. All the taxes we claim on our lands now go straight to a syndicate that we owe a lot of money to. Unless we find a way to pay off the debts of your father and his father before him, we will all be thrown into the cold or worse. Now, I've seen this storm coming for a while, Tyrion. I've spent years trying to coax a family union with the Truscans. You know this. Now, after much toil and diplomacy, they have agreed to wed you to their daughter Lydia. This union will bring our family a renewed avenue to wealth and protection within the Empire. We can stave off this terrible end, and you will be a hero within the family.
I don't understand. The way we lived, the way you talked, made it seem like there was endless money. Forever.
This stems to your lack of respect.
My lack of respect? What happened? How did you ruin us like this?
What is this syndicate you speak of?
His eyes dart to you with a fiery hatred. Like, how dare you speak up right now?
when your grandfather passed, when you were still but a baby, our lands were nearly taken from us from a rival barony, from within the Dwendalian court. Lord Jaifer had found loopholes to revoking our ownership and titles set by Oberyn. And in my panic and necessity, I found an ally in the Myriad.
In the Myriad?
Through a whispered hint, I met a man named Korshad, who ensured our surviving ownership in trade for a partnership with him. I signed, not wanting to toss at the time my only child into the street. But as the decades passed, I did not realize in my haste the depths of the deal that I'd made. With many harvests failing in recent years, the agreement now devours our livelihood from within. They now demand our accrued debt paid in full, or they take full ownership of everything.
I'm having trouble wrapping my head around this. You're saying everything I've lived has all been built on this deal with this shady group? You're a criminal?
No.
You're just a criminal.
No, it is built on what we built as a family.
We didn't build anything as a family.
We did, and nearly had it taken away. I did this to maintain it. And I let you live as you all deserve to live.
But Papa, you never told me any of this. You were cold to us, and you told us a bare minimum of what you did and how you ran things.
I
and
had
maybe you were
hoped
trying
to find a way to fix this before I needed to. Yet here I am, prostrate before my own child, broken, and he starts like tears just pour down his cheeks, like just trying to make it right.
I didn't know any of this. How would I? And now I have to fix it for you? By marrying some girl?
It's a marriage of convenience.
That's still a marriage.
It means nothing more than political gain. Your life is still yours to live.
No, it's not. I have to be here. I have to be with her. I have to live in her castle or she in mine. Listen, I've learned a lot from these people over the last year and so. And one thing I've learned is that you are who you are, whether you have a lot of money or not. And I don't have that much anymore. And I'm still okay with that. And it's not because of the things I own, it's because of the deeds that I do. You've done some bad deeds in your life. And it sounds like you've done them to preserve our family and preserve our legacy. But that's not a reason to do them.
He leans forward to you and looks you with an honest, more honest than you've seen him, a very vulnerable expression. Every man and woman who has money has done bad things.
Yes, I'm sure that's true. And I assume I'm somehow complicit in this.
You are not. I tried to keep you and your sister and your mother as innocent as I could. My back's to a wall now.
I'll have to think about this.
Think on it. The choice is still yours. I would not force you into this, but it is a chance. I just wish you to contemplate.
What have you done to our name? Do people know of this?
No.
And if I marry this girl, it'll just all go away?
If you marry this girl, we'll have the influence and the wealth to pay this debt and cut ties with the Myriad entirely. We would be a free family once more.
How much debt are we talking?
The last demand we were given was 230,000 gold.
Fair. That's a lot.
Is there any other way than marriage that you can think of?
I've exhausted the options I have at my disposal.
What if we just wipe out the Myriad?
He laughs.
Far too big.
So do I.
You underestimate the sheer size and how ingrained they are in the society here. This is no guild. Wildmount is the Myriad in many ways.
Yeah.
And if I say no, and they take all of our possessions and our estate, everything, what then? We're ruined.
We're on the street. We are but beggars within our own city, at the mercy of those we've been taxing.
How could you do this to us?
Because I loved you. I loved you all, and
You
I
never-
did what was necessary.
You never told us that. You always talked about bloodlines and legacies and the Darrington name, but you never told us you were proud. You never comforted us. You never cared what I wanted to do or who I wanted to be. I'm cursed with this name now, Darrington. You've sullied our name by enforcing these taxes and just being an asshole to everyone around our whole city. And now I have to live with it. Or marry this girl to save it. Listen, I'm sorry I left, and I'm sorry I took all that gold. I did not know it was everything. But what you're asking me is... I'll need to think. I'm sorry.
I do that at least. I never claimed to be a good man. I never claimed to be a good father, good husband. But I can try to be better, can't I?
Yes, you can. I'm gonna go see Mother and Sister. My friends stay here the night.
Of course. And enjoy the grounds while you can.
This Kolshad and the Myriad. Where do you meet with him?
It's been some time, but if you wish to seek him out, ask for who you can speak with the many.
The many?
Within the Grumpy Lily.
Grumpy Lillian?
The Grumpy Lily.
The grumpy.
You know this to be one of the seedier bars in town.
Oh, okay.
And I'm asking to speak with the many.
Wishing to speak with the many.
All right.
Well, good to see you. Have a good afternoon.
I'm glad you're safe.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
You too. More than you know, my son.
Do we leave the room?
Yes, let's leave the room.
Howard, at this point, is just sitting back next to Marianne and goes,
Oh, did you want some as well?
I'm fine for now. Your sister tells me that we are to have a family meeting.
Yes, and with your permission, I would like to invite my friends to stay for it as well, as it does concern them.
Hey.
Hi.
Charmed.
Very well.
I bring you news, and I bring you a proposal. And as a businessman, I hope you'll listen to both.
he seems keen at the choice of words.
Yes, my son.
First, the news. It's good news. First, I will not be marrying this Lydia person. There's no need. And also, I think we all know I would not be happy in such a marriage, and we should all be free to pursue whomever we love. That's beside the point. It's not necessary because I have made a deal with the Myriad. A deal that will spare us from any danger and clear us from all debt. They really carried out a task for the Myriad that has absolved us of the debt that you ran up. And we are free and clear.
He looks to Maria and Marianne, and, he softens up.
If what you say is true, then this is indeed a great day. And I owe each and every one of you a great debt. We owe you a great debt.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but thank you.
Yes, they don't. Forgive me for speaking on your behalf. I don't think that they want to collect on a debt. They just did this because we're friends. The forgiveness of debt comes with some strings attached. We will lose most of our property and assets, but we will maintain the homestead here and all of its possessions and artwork and belongings we get to keep. We also get the nearby farmhouse and all of the land. And we get a new lease on life and a new beginning. I think it's an opportunity for our family. And that leads me to my proposal. Father, as much as I have respected you for keeping us safe and providing for us, you have not given us the one thing a family needs, which is love, real love. You have made sure that we are safe because you care about our blood, because it is your blood, and you care about the fact that we bear your name, but you haven't given us the opportunity to be a real family. And I believe we can be if we start out new and fresh together. Here's my proposal. I will come back and live with you in Wildmount, and I will lead this family to a new chapter. Our business model will change a bit. I propose that we do not engage in real estate anymore, but in another venture forgive me, but you have sullied our name.
Marianne at this point says, "No, brother, you have," and you watch as Howard puts his hand out in front and just dad hands her immediately and pushes her back, not stopping his gaze from you. His jaw clenches tight as he kind of clears his throat and his hands go back behind his body.
The Darrington name is one of ill repute. We are scoundrels, and we are land barons, and we are awful people. And now we are penniless, awful people. But I feel that we can fix it. What I propose is this. Our home will be vacated by us. We are going to move to the farmhouse, where we will all live as a family. We will tend to the farm and we will raise crops together. Our home will be turned into the Darrington Fund for charitable giving, where people who are down on their luck can come and live and get back on their feet. Now, such a fund will need donors, and you have many contacts in the business world. You and possibly sister could run this foundation and spread goodness all over Wildmount instead of badness and evil.
There's a flash of movement. How quicker than you've seen your father move, he has grabbed a chair behind him and thrown it across the room, smashing it against the nearby wall.
I take a step forward and just unsheath a dagger an inch and say, we're going to keep this civil today, aren't we?
You have no right to talk to me. You stand here in shame. The work that I've done and given my life to secure and give to you and your sister and to uphold the mistakes that my father made the best of my ability and fix them. And you waltz in here after a year of adventuring and just expect me to accept you throwing everything I've worked for into the sewer.
I didn't do that, Father. You did. It's gone. Everything is gone. You don't even own your own house anymore.
It wouldn't be that way if you would have just married that girl.
It's not going to happen. In my year of travel, I didn't just dilly-dally around the world having fun. I was learning about the world and about life and about family. I was learning from these fine people what it means to really be a family and care about each other. I learned from Grog and Vax what it means to be a man and to be a father. I learned from Pike what it means to be a caring mother. I learned from Keyleth what a real sister is like, one who loves you and cares for you. I learned from Vex what a best friend is like. These are things that you never gave us growing up. I even learned from Percival the type of man I would want to marry one day. And we never got that at home. And from this day forth, I'm going to create a home, my home, that I own, that values and respects the opinions of each family member, that cares for one another, where we stick up for each other and help each other through hard times, and not just rule by decree. If you don't want to be a part of this, that's fine. You can leave my house. But I want you to stay. I need your counsel, and I need your help. And we need you as a father. I need you and sister to run this foundation for me, to repair our name and our reputation. It could be great. It could be the best thing that's ever happened to us. And there's more. I have an idea to create something else. A team of adventurers based here in Wildmount, the Darrington Brigade, led by me, Tyrion Darrington. We will fight for justice and win battles against evildoers and spread the Darrington name around the continent. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I feel like if we embarked on this new adventure together, it could save our name and repair our relationship. And as a businessman, I'm asking you to consider it. Because your other options are, well, they're not great.
Make persuasion check.
Speech. We made with the Myriad, sir?
I'm gonna use luck.
Your name, no one would know that you were forced out of your home. Everyone knows, everyone thinks that this was your choice, that you're being charitable.
I'm gonna see if the fates can help me.
Oh, you're gonna use it now? You're gonna use it now?
Oh my god! Cash it in! Cash it in!
That's it. 25.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sing-a-ling.
That's a moment to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see as Maria, your mother, is now kind of moved to the side of Howard and is kind of holding his arms. Honey, there was no other path. This is a gift. And he kind of like pulls his arm from her a little bit and begins to walk towards you. He watches Marianne, who's been put on this very kind of shocked face, go kind of pale white, and for a moment, the facade of the adult gives way to the child. Father! As he walks up to you, you watch as he brings his hand up. And just falls into his own hand and falls to his knees in the ground. And he's just shaking, he's quaking. You see as his fist is clenched there, and he slams it into the ground once, twice, a third time. Each one just the resounding knock of him hitting bone and skin against wood. And he just does it again and again and again, all the anger and fury being focused into this. As he finishes and stops, you can see the blood pouring from the side of the knuckles there, and his hand shaking. He stops and looks at it. And for the first time, not even the other evening, in which there was a sort of feigned softness to him, that you have read through before and seen, for the first time you see your father as a broken man. And he looks up at you. I lost everything. I did this to us. He looks back at Marianne, to you, and the dampness gathering down the side of his wrinkled cheeks, gathering across the stubble on his chin, and vanishing amongst the cluster of thin, bristly facial hair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I am too.
He looks about at this point. Now, his focused anger subsided in this emotional moment, realizing that there are strangers at the table, and he kind of... If you could please give us a bit of time. His hand's still like clustered there. Looks over to Berthold. Berthold kind of like ushers you all out front, you staying behind Tyrion. About 10 minutes or so as you all are awkwardly kind of waiting outside in the quiet. The cloudy day that had originally kind of brought you into Diastok is breaking in places. You see hints of blue sky peeking through and a little bit of sunlight occasionally finding its way across the cobblestone roads of the cityscape. You hear the occasional tweet of birds as they kind of jump from tree to tree. And in this silence, you really get to take in the surrounding beauty of this town, even as oppressive and gloomy as your arrival may have been, and the tenseness of the work that you had to do in this space. You kind of allow yourself to realize that this is a nice town. You hear the door open once more from the front of the estate, and there you see Marianne, her just wet on the cheeks, she's wiping up. My father would like to speak to you, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Sure.
She steps back in, and Howard comes back. He is more composed than he was before. He's back to his presentery self. When my son left, I was under the impression that his fanciful ideas would either break him and send him back to me to finally listen to what I had to teach. If luck was with us. If not, his fool's errand was bound to get him killed. It is by some miracle that he found you. I don't know what's in store for my children, my wife, myself. There is a lot to discuss, a lot to decide. Us as a family. And I'm still processing all of it. I'm sorry you got pulled into all of this, but I'm glad. I'm glad that you gave him your friendship. And I'm sorry you had to see this. He's kind of hiding his bad hand under the good one. I'm sure in time I'll come to appreciate this. Out of desperation and obsession, I became my father. Something I promised I would never do. And I'm sorry. Looks back over his shoulder to Terry, who's a few feet behind him. I'm sorry. And he walks back into the house and just kind of stops a little bit and looks back over his shoulder towards you.
Second chances are a gift. I pray you don't squander it.
You're not the first man to panic at the loss of his shackles. I hope you eventually enjoy the freedom that you've just been given from your legacy.
Legacy. And he continues walking into the house.
May I have your hand, please?
So he stops as he's kind of walking. I'm sorry, what?
May I have your hand? Not in marriage. I worded that strangely. Just your hand that's hurt.
He's still clutching and hiding it, and he gives you a look of understanding what you're asking. He goes, I appreciate the offer, but this needs to heal on its own.
Understood.
This pain shouldn't be fleeting. And he walks away inside.